Hey everybody, this is Mattie with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're doing well. We're going to take a look at 3 stories today. Robinhood has updated the list of states in the US that can avail themselves of the Robinhood services. So we're going to take a look at that news. We're going to take a look at a guest author and friend of Altcoin Buzz who's taken a look and really laid out what it means to have a public blockchain, what it means to have a private blockchain, and has suggested that a hybrid model is really the best that certain, government bodies, certain corporations may want to avail themselves of. So we're going to take a look at that article in a moment. But to begin with, article by Chris, Bitcoin ETF to launch in 2019. So you may have heard about this. VanEck has partnered with SolidX and Bank of New York Mellon. They're all going to join together and create the first Bitcoin ETF, exchange traded fund. If approved, trading will begin sometime around Q1 of 2019 under the symbol XBTC on the CBOE BZX exchange. So you may have heard about this group before, VanEck, and they're kind of saying that hopefully the third time is the charm because they've attempted this a couple of times already, and for various reasons, some regulatory reasons primarily, it hasn't really gotten off the ground. So they're an investment management company, and they're going to aim for this ETF. I think the fact that they're partnering with SolidX and Bank of New York Mellon kind of gives them a little bit more weight, gives them a little bit more credibility this time around, and they have a much better chance to go at it. So it's good news, yes. Couple of caveats as pointed out here. So the biggest one is that, quoting, one share will cost $200,000 in order to directly market institutional investors. And the other caveat being that the price of the underlying asset, Bitcoin, will be tracked from VanEck's subsidiary MVIS, which uses the price from OTC trades instead of electronic exchanges. So all that to say is the price could be higher than you'd otherwise find it on like a Coinbase or a Binance or elsewhere. So as I mentioned, VanEck has tried to launch before. They tried to launch in August 2017. And they had to withdraw their request because the futures didn't exist yet at that time. They tried again in December of 2017, but that coincided with some of the FUD that we were initially beginning to see out of the SEC, and that didn't quite work out. So hopefully this time around, it is going to work. And here you have a quote from Jan VanEck, Chief Executive Officer of VanEck. So, quote, I believe that Bitcoin has emerged as a legitimate investment option as a type of digital gold that may make sense for investors' portfolios. A properly constructed, physically backed Bitcoin ETF will be designed to provide exposure to the price of Bitcoin, and an insurance component will help protect shareholders against the operational risk of sourcing and holding Bitcoin. So that is from the CEO of VanEck. So not a bad piece of news. I mean, these guys are not at the level of a Fidelity investment group that we discussed yesterday, but the more the merrier. And this party is only growing as far as you can kind of tell from the sideline perspective. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's hope they get it off the ground this third time. The third time is the charm, hopefully. And you can read more about that here on CNBC. VanEck tries a third time for a Bitcoin ETF. Let us know your thoughts and comments below, guys. And here in an article by Garrett on altcoinbuzz.io, Robinhood brings crypto trading app to Texas. So Robinhood has been slowly yet steadily expanding their user base. And yesterday, Robinhood announced on their Twitter that Texans can begin using their cryptocurrency trading services. So this is the tweet that they put out. Very apropos. So this addition should significantly expand Robinhood's user base, as Texas is the second largest in the United States by population, right? And they've been slowly rolling out a greater and greater offering in terms of where you can access the services of Robinhood, because they started with a relatively small number of states. We're going to take a look at that at the very end of this article. So Robinhood, if you haven't heard of them, they're a financial services company. They allow trading of traditional stocks. And now all of a sudden, they're getting a little bit more into the crypto game. So they started in February of this year, and they offered their services to 5 states. And currently, clients can buy and sell Bitcoin and Ethereum. The idea is that in the future, they're going to be supporting more cryptos, but that's where we stand now. And the current snapshot of states in which you can use this service is as follows. You can take a look at some of these. You got some big ones, you got some small ones on the list. So California is there. That's a big one for sure. And now Texas, of course. So pretty good news. You got to remember that when we started with Robinhood, they were only offered in California, Massachusetts, Missouri, Montana, and New Hampshire. So that's grown pretty steadily in the time that it's been around. And look, this opens the door to Texans that are pro-crypto that want to trade easily and in a way that's convenient and efficient. You can do this on a smartphone. You can do this very, very easily with minimal effort. So this opens the door for more and more people, opens the door to the herd. So let us know, guys. Maybe you use Robinhood. Maybe you're a Texan that's into crypto, but you're not quite there yet. And then this is something that's going to entice you to take that next step. So let us know, Texans out there, soldiers that are Texans in the Altcoin Buzz Army. Let us know your thoughts. Curious to know if you'd be interested in using Robinhood going forward. You could take a look at their tweet there. And here in Finance Magnets, an article, Robinhood expands cryptocurrency trading app to Texas. So you can take a look at that. We're going to link in the description below. And finally today, we're taking a look at this article by David Freuden, a friend of ours at Altcoin Buzz and a guest author who's a blockchain advisor that has come in to write about hybrid blockchain, which he has very, very clearly spelled out here as the best of both chains as an option depending on where you are in the institutional space. So he talks about how if you Google the terms hybrid blockchain, it's not exactly the most popular right now. You're going to get about 750,000 search results. Whereas with public blockchain, you get 40 million. This is on Google. And private blockchain yields about 30 million. So what we're talking about here is a hybrid blockchain that really kind of takes the best of both worlds. And we're not going to be able to do full justice to David's article here because it's a little bit technical. But to give you guys an overview, if we go back and talk about, well, what is a blockchain to begin with, right? So David was recently attending the Blockchain Economy World Tour in Sydney. And one of the speakers there was Dr. W. Scott Stornetta. And he presented this idea and talked about how his aha moment in the space came with the advent or the revolutionary idea, I should say, of digital timestamping or even timestamping in general, right? So timestamping goes all the way back to 1991. So Mr. Stornetta was working with Stuart Haber, and they published all kinds of articles about this in scholarly articles, right, in 1991 about this phenomenon of digital timestamping, what it could mean for the future of technology and finance. And as David points out here, these were in fact papers that were mentioned by Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto in the original Bitcoin white paper. So you can see here, and this is references within the white paper to S. Haber and W.S. Stornetta, 1991. So it's not exactly a new concept. I mean, this even predates the popularity of the internet, really. The internet may have existed back then, but it certainly wasn't widely used on a general consumer level. So the idea here with timestamping is, of course, that you have to be able to let the world become your witness, right? That's also a big part of it. And in Scott's presentation, he went on to explain that if you're not sure who to trust in a centralized, controlled environment, then the best protection would be to invite the public at large to verify that this transaction took place. So this is the idea of decentralization, right? The decentralization, public verification, and timestamping of a generated hash is one of the core components of Bitcoin and blockchain. Another key observation regarding Dr. Stornetta's work is that public verification was used to publicly verify a hash that was generated on a private network. It was 1991. His work predated the development of the blockchain. So definitely a revolutionary idea at the time here. You can take a look, private network versus public network, how it's roughly set up. And of course, Satoshi Nakamoto incorporated decentralized public verification into a decentralized currency, Bitcoin, and subsequently, most of the blockchains that have followed have also tended to build upon that same model. So, does a hash, this is the question that we kind of, the next logical step, does a hash need to be generated on the public blockchain, or can it be generated on a private blockchain while using a public counterpart exclusively for verification? So this is where perhaps you have a little bit of a combination, or as David refers to it, a hybrid effect. So a hybrid blockchain. So what is that all about? hybrid blockchain would basically offer the benefits of both worlds, right? The benefits of having a public and a private setup at the same time. So it consists of the public blockchain and the idea that all participants are part of it, and a private network, also referred to as a permissioned network, that restricts participation to those invited by a centralized body. So there's all kinds of benefits to the hybrid blockchain, and David goes on to suggest that this could work really well in certain institutional settings and certain financial settings for various corporations, as well as for some government bodies that want to have public verifiability. I'm not sure if that's a word, but they want to make sure that, you know, there's some exposure that's public, but there's also a private element that they can control themselves at the same time. And that's what might strike the best balance depending on the type of organization you are. So in a Fortune article that we're going to link to here, February 2017, we can already see acknowledgments of the benefits of embracing a hybrid blockchain by the Bank of New York Mellon. So they said, quote, that interconnection of public and private chains actually creates a very strong network, Batlin said in a call with Fortune. Each chain strengthens the other at an exponential level. Alex Batlin, blockchain lead at the Bank of New York Mellon. And you can take a further look here at some of the projects that are using a hybrid model. So XDCE is one of them. You could take a further look at what they're up to, what they're based on. And it could be argued that Ripple is actually heading in the direction of a hybrid blockchain model. So Ripple, of course, has been in the news lately. And if you really want to dig into their structure and some of their technicalities, it could be said that they're heading towards more of a hybrid design. So pretty interesting article. We wouldn't really have time to go through every detail of it. But do be sure to leave David a comment. So David Ferdin is a blockchain advisor to IIB, Council of Blockchain Professionals, and LLB, I believe. So do be sure to take a look at David's article, leave a comment for him, and leave your comments below. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on the hybrid blockchain. Is it the best of both worlds, combining private and public? Let us know what you think. And of course, here is the original white paper, Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper on Bitcoin. Only 9 pages. So if ever you want to take a look at this, study it, give it a read. It's an interesting one to take a look at after all these years. And we're going to link to this article as well. Big business giants from Microsoft to JP Morgan are getting behind Ethereum. So this is that Fortune article where the New York bank Mellon is actually talking about the benefits of the hybrid blockchain. And you can take a look at this. This is something that the Ripple CTO was featured in, the death of ICO, and 4 other 2018 predictions. And they talk about the benefits of hybrid blockchain. He lauds some of its characteristics in here. So guys, with that, I just want to mention that, hey, haven't had a chance to talk about Altcoin Buzz on Instagram for a while. So, hey, be sure to check us out here because there's some funny things that go up on the Instagram channel, usually a little bit more lighthearted. So this is the type of stuff that we like to, post, and just keep it light, just keep it fun. There's so much humor in this space, right? We got to make sure to have a chuckle now and then as well. So check out Altcoin Buzz on Instagram if you're on Instagram, and you'll probably have a good laugh. Do be sure you're following Altcoin Buzz News on Twitter because we always alert you to the latest and greatest in the world of blockchain. So do be sure to follow us here. And look, guys, do be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily content. Give this video a like if you can, if you enjoyed it. And with that, guys, I wish you happy investing. We'll see you again soon. Take care.